Okay, good. All right, finally. I thought for a minute it wasn't going to go live again. On here, just hey, Greg, is everything coming through good and strong this morning? I'm I flipped around here. I'm using a different computer this morning up here at the shop. Hope. Oh, hey, Ponka, how's the signal and the picture and everything? Is everything pretty good? Good video. Okay, good. I just want to double check right quick. Looks okay, does it, Chris? Okay, good. I I had it lined up, working good. Switched off from my test mode onto the real one, and boom, I couldn't get back on. I just trying to. That's why I got about a minute late. I was sitting here for 10 minutes waiting on everything to get ready to go, and then the last second, my computer goofed up on the live stream. But I'm back. I'm up here at the shop. I hope everybody can see me good. The stream seems to be pretty good up here. Oh, okay, yeah, that's my lift in the back. Yeah, I've got the that's a sterile Coney lift. I can lift dump trucks, the big semis. That's a tandem Cascadia back there in the back right there. Yeah, well, I've changed. I'm not using the exact same camera I had last week. This one is off of my Chromebook. It seems to be pretty good. It seems to be a little bit I don't know, like it's like I got a filter over it or something. I don't know how you explain that. I don't know if it's that or if it's these lights are affecting it a little bit. But I hope the video and everything's good. I had to a little bit fuzzy. Yeah, that's what I said. Like a filter. It's like a filter's over it right quick. Let me see if I can. I don't know if it's. I'll move it in a little bit closer. Whatever. It might be those lights. I don't know, but we'll try. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can maneuver a little bit so it might look a little less fuzzy because I see that on this end too. Whoops. Hold on a second. I hit something there on my computer. Yeah. Well, I hope you're cool with it and everything. I'll try to give it my best today. And like I said, the other camera that I was using, I didn't have it available. I actually just misplaced is what I did. I was down at the house yesterday. I had to go to Friday and Saturday, I had to go to Savannah, Georgia, and Hilton Head, and then back over to Charleston. So I've been traveling, and I didn't have enough time to prepare early this morning over my norm. So when I grabbed everything to get started, I was a little bit befuddled. I go, oh crap, where's this, and where's this? So I grabbed this because it's a fairly new laptop. And it does pretty good. I've used it once or twice before, but it's not quite as good a camera. The newer camera that I've had the last couple of times, I think, does a real good job for me. So I have a little bit. I'm running off the camera off of the laptop here today. Yeah. Well, that's you're staying plenty busy then, are you, Chris? Well, I understand that. Yeah, I've done a lot of insulation myself. Of course, you see this building is well insulated. This building is really nice. I I don't know if y'all heard it a while ago. We finally got some rain, and I was so tickled about getting the rain in, but it seems like it's slacked off. I don't hear it as much on this tin building and everything. You can really hear the rain. If we have a good heavy rainstorm, you can hear it really, really good. But right now, it seems to have subsided a little bit, so I'm not as not hearing the rain as much as I was. And what in the heck is that up in the corner of my building up there? I got something up in the corner of my building I need to check out. I don't know if that's, I don't know what that is. Uh, you ever been in a building? I hope that's not a nest of some description up there. These big old buildings, you'll get birds in them and everything else, and you'll get somebody nested in there. I see something up there that looks a little bit strange. See what it is. But that's one thing you got to watch when we're here in the shop. A lot of times we have all the doors open, and you'll get birds and well, mainly birds, but you'll have other animals too that get in. I had a groundhog that got in the back section of the building, and he unfortunately got stuck and couldn't get out. And Mr. Groundhog didn't make it because I didn't go back there for weeks, and I went back there in the back section where the compressors are, and I go, well, there's Mr. Groundhog. He's doing like a little bit like Beethoven, only he was decomposing. So, yeah, you got to watch these things. This time of year and everything, you're going to get animals moving around. Especially when it's dry. And it's been extremely dry here. They're going to try to find something with some moisture and not as dry and different things like that. So you'll have animals that will migrate into your buildings. So you have to kind of watch it, especially when you have some of these great big buildings like I've got here. Well, and yeah, that's another one I don't. Yeah, I've got day cab trucks also, Ponca. I've got day cabs. I don't have as many. I have more sleeper because the guys like sleeper trucks better. One reason, if they get down to the meet point and it's not. Let me try to stabilize this computer a little bit. I'm not getting it right there. Yeah, if they get down to the what they call the meet point, or the butt head. We used to call it butt head, and corporate decided that wasn't a good name for it. So they changed it to a meet point. But when they get down to the butt head or meet point, whatever you want to call it, they like sometimes to stretch out. If they know they're going to have 30 or 40 minutes or an hour, they take their break and relax. So we like having a little bit more relaxing truck for them to ride in if they can. And that's why we try to have a few more sleepers, and it gives us flexibility too in case we do have something wild and we want to run a sleeper unit somewhere and have a team or something like that, or somebody's going to run all the way through, and that happens occasionally too. Sometimes we'll have guys that get to the meet point and somebody's broken down on the other end, and they say, we're going to have to run you all the way into Columbus, or run you all the way into Orlando, or run you all the way into Harrisburg, stuff like that. So sometimes we need the opportunity to be able to let these guys spend the night in a truck. It doesn't happen very often with ours, maybe once a year for anybody, but that does happen occasionally. So that's one reason we run primarily sleepers. But I've got about I want to say I've got one. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, probably 6 day cab trucks that I actually use. I don't use that many for that reason. My guys that are domiciled out of Savannah, 3 of the trucks down there are day cab trucks. But I had them primarily too because if they were going to be used locally, it's a single axle day cab's pretty convenient to run something local. So, you like, having that. Yeah, it depends. Well, brand new now, sleepers are way more expensive. You can save money by buying a day cab brand new, but on the used market, yeah, they tend to be about the same. And sometimes I've seen day cab trucks actually bring higher money than. Let me see if I can move this over here. I don't know if I can or not. I'm trying to move the screen, around a little bit here. I may make a mistake by doing that, so I better not try to do that. No, don't want to do that either. So I'll leave that alone. Sometimes I get too anxious here. I'm working on the computer and I'll my screen on this one, the chat, excuse me, the chat on it is getting cut off just on the end. So I'm saying about, yeah, now a lot of farmers like to have the day cabs, I know. Well, we're upgrading trucks right now, and that's one thing I'm doing, Ponca. I bought, and that's one thing I was going to tell you. I bought like this Cascadia back here. I bought 6 more of them this past week, and so I've got some 2015 Cascadias that have the new technology and the everything that FedEx is requiring for our what they call their 2024 thing. I got up until 2024 to get all of my trucks updated with the new technology. Now, as it stands right now, I can still use the older trucks, but after 2024, I won't be able to. But by 2024, those will be pretty well worn down anyway. I'll have them sold off. I'm getting to that point now that the older 60 series and those kind of trucks are wearing out. Now, these trucks present a whole new problem themselves. These Cascadias, and of course, I got the DEF fuel that I've got in these, and all that. But the exhaust systems are always given. We got NOx sensors. We're carrying NOx sensors in our shop all the time, because these, you'll get a NOx sensor error, and then you'll get a speed control sensor. You got so many sensors in these things, it's pathetic, that will actually shut the truck down. Well, we're you're seeing a downturn in it. There's a lot of big fleets going out of business. The trucking industry is getting tough again. I'm seeing a little bit of downturn in some of the smaller trucking companies. Well, I won't say small. When I say smaller, of course, you got to realize I'm with FedEx, which is the second largest. And so when I say smaller, that's anything from second on down. So, but the smaller companies, I've seen, some companies that only have maybe 75 to 100, or maybe just a couple hundred trucks. Some of those trucking lines are struggling. I don't know if it's because of a little bit of downturn in the economy, and I'm seeing just a smidge of that, not a ton, but things are changing. Yeah, the government. We're in a sort of a perplexing time. Trump has tightened up some of the tariffs, but in reality, those are things that were left that too many of these other companies had let them get way out of hand. And all of our manufacturing has left us, and Trump's trying to get some of that back. Now, there's some pain that goes along with that, and I had to applaud him. I mean, I don't know what your politics guys are, but I had to applaud him for trying to get manufacturing back in this area. I like that. I mean, I'm one of the old guys. I've seen it, back in the 60s, how everything was flowing good. And then the 70s, I saw some of the downturn in the late 70s, bouncing back in the 80s, 90s, a little bit different. So, every decade I've seen some of these that have really changed. And it's good to have that working knowledge and to see what our government did and the mistakes. And one of the biggest mistakes was NAFTA. it's tough out there when you see what happened with NAFTA, and basically, and a lot of people in the know said, "Hey, don't do that. We're going to lose everything, for manufacturing." Oh, no, 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 we won't do it. Well, what happened? You don't. When's the last time you've seen anything sewn or made in America? You don't see it anymore. There's very, very few. Over here on the East Coast, where cotton mills and that kind of manufacturing was huge, they're all gone. I mean, every single one of them. You know, yeah, Ross Perot was, and a lot of people fuss about Trump, but I see Trump very much like Ross Perot. Ross Perot, they branded him as an idiot real quick. They jumped all over him and made him non-electable. I'm afraid Ross Perot would have, had he gone in, he would have had some things straightened out. But instead, like the news media wants to box everybody into their own situation that they want, and that's it. I mean, they don't want. Trump was being a rogue type candidate, and they kept saying, "Oh, he'll never make it. He'll never do it. He can't do this, can't do that," and bam, he did. And it just, it blows me away. But Ross Perot was a lot like what Trump ended up being. And I liked Ross Perot, and I thought Ross Perot was going to shake some things up, but it just didn't happen at the time. I mean, the media just did everything in their power to knock him down, even though he had great ideas, and he was a very smart guy, very smart businessman. And so I kind of I look at the parallels that we had in that time and then what we've got now with Trump. And had Ross Perot been able to jump on a regular party, I think he would have gone in. I really do. But yeah, well, that's the thing about it. We have got to. I mean, I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, whatever. We've got to have manufacturing in the United States. You need jobs that people can build things. We cannot be what they call a service society. I mean, a service society is basically somebody that, just brings things to you. I'm in a service society. I'm in a service job. But you're dependent on things being manufactured. And what I'm seeing now, and this is why I do have a little bit of insight on this. It used to be I would go, when I worked at Carolina Freight years ago, we'd go pick up from a manufacturer. It was somebody like, we used to have, was it Belden? I believe it was down in Chester, South Carolina, York area. I mean, they manufactured wire. That company's gone away. We had people, like I said, in textiles. We picked up textiles all over this area, and they were making textiles. Whether they were making it, maybe they weren't making the end product, but maybe they were making part of the product, and we would ship it to another company, and then they would make the finished product. You saw things like that happen. Steel mills. We still have Nucor Steel in this area, but that's one of the few. And they're based in Charleston and Charlotte and a few other places. And, places like that, we need that again. Like I said, I don't care what your politics are. Whoever's in there needs to be able to help manufacturing get back to the United States, because if we can't manufacture it, we're going to be dependent on the people that do manufacture it. And you don't want us to get in that situation, and we're almost there. You don't want us to get to the point where we can't make our own steel to make things. You don't want to make, I'll back up a little bit. My dad, of course, my dad would have been close to 100 now if he was still alive. He'd been about 96 or something, let's see. But when he was young, he was talking about Japan put on the big thing about wanting our used steel. our used steel, cans, whatever we had. They wanted every bit of that used steel, and we shipped that back in the 30s and 40s. They shipped a lot of used steel, old car bodies, everything you can think of, crush it, shipped it over to Japan. They were paying premium for it. And like Dad said, what they did, then they shot it back at us in bullets. And then they also built up their manufacturing base too, along with China and all these places. They're manufacturing things. We're manufacturing almost nothing. And you don't want to be so dependent. I mean, think about it. If our sources were completely cut off, we would be hurting. We would be hurting because, we have very few steel mills. We import steel. So if we were to get into a war type situation, and the people that we're fighting against are the people that are manufacturing and making the steel for us, we can't build steel mills like that overnight. We can't. and when we have let the percentage of our manufacturing get down to a point where, we are dependent on foreign countries, we are a weak country at that point. Yeah, I mean, we like I said, Japan. We are very dependent on Japan. We're very dependent on China, and I mean, take any of your clothing that you have in your closet right now, and it's going to be from Bangladesh, from Vietnam, who we fought. It's going to be from any country besides the U.S. We have so few clothing places like that. It's pathetic. And imagine if we were in a war, and like I said, and all these staples, all these commodities were shut off. First off, our economy would tank because we're very dependent on that because of being a service society. And then after that, not only would our economy tank, but we would be like on an island ourselves because we couldn't manufacture the commodities that we need to help protect ourselves. So we would be we'd be in bad shape there and everything. All right, I got something kicked in. I hope my signal hadn't dropped. I dropped a bunch at one time here. Is everything still okay out there? I've lost. I'm my compressor kicked on. Is everybody still in here? Okay. Okay, you're okay. All right. I was worried about that for a second. I had a compressor at the shop here kick on, and I hope it didn't affect my Wi-Fi or whatever. Everything's good. Okay, that's good. You get into that sometimes. I'm up here dependent on as we're talking about dependency, I'm dependent on making sure that my Wi-Fi and everything else, because I'm running portable off of my laptop and my phone signal up here. But we are at a very vulnerable situation right now, I think. And we can get into a situation where and it's scary for me for the fact that if we don't have strong leaders out there, we could be taken over, I think, in a very short while. We could be like another Venezuela. And that scares me. That scares me because we have some weak-minded politicians out there that's what they want us to do. And, we can't do it. And we have the mindset of the ones that think that we have an endless amount of money to give to everybody. And then we have an endless amount of resources. And they're so ignorant of the fact that we don't. And so that's kind of where I'm at on that. Hate to be too political this morning, but I guess that was on my mind. And I hope everybody understands where I'm coming from. And really, I don't care if a person is a Democrat, a Republican, or whatever. I just want them to be a good American is what I'm after. And now I got a daggum. Let me get this thing here off my screen. Got one of these pop-ups that popped up there. Well, yeah, the lobbyists have a. I hear the rain again. I got rain. I got rain coming in the area here. I'm getting rain. Thank goodness. Yeah, yeah. The politics do politics. You know, and we regardless. And I think everybody needs to look at it on the local level too. I mean, there's a lot of local politicians that can do some crazy things for local municipalities and everything. And so you need to be aware of any local politicians. We've had some crazy ones around here that. Um, I mean, I'm all about honoring the police force and the military and different people like that. But we got some crazy sheriffs in this area that won't. They have been releasing people that have criminal records because ICE wanted them, and they wouldn't let them ICE pick them up, even though we had some rapists and a bunch of other things. And they said, well, it's not our problem. Well, it's a real big problem if you know that that's a known criminal and you won't let ICE do their job and deport them. Instead, you're being stubborn and trying to be a sanctuary type area. I mean, it's really crazy. I mean, a criminal is a criminal is a criminal. I mean, if you don't adhere to the law, if you've broken laws, you need to be deported out of our country, period. That's all there is to it. Uh, so I'm really torn between the way some of the we've got some local politicians that have gotten crazy, but that's the way it goes. Yeah, I know sanctuary cities are real high crime areas right now. We we're at a crossing point that we've got, and like I said, I just want to talk common sense to most people. I don't, like I said, I don't care if a person's a Democrat, a Republican, or whatever. I just think people need to look at common sense of what we need. Hey, James, how are you? Yeah, we need common sense in America. We don't need idiots that want to give away everything that we have to work for. And that's it, plain and simple. And like I said, whether you're a Democrat, Republican, Independent, Libertarian, whatever it is, I feel like that a person needs to be smart on what they do. Look at the total package. I mean, don't we got so many people now that are hating each other because of their politics. I mean, I've got some friends that you can't talk to now because they're so stuck in their way of thinking. Oh, you're working with Old Dominion. Old Dominion is a very good company, James. You're going to be that's a company to stay with. I'm gonna tell you that. I don't know where you're running with Old Dominion or where you're out of, but Old Dominion is based right here out of High Point, North Carolina. Very, very well. One of their headquarters is out of High Point. I think they originally out of Virginia, but they got one of their big corporate offices out of High Point. Yeah, I've actually owned some older trucks at Old Dominion, and they were great trucks. I bought several of their trucks. I bought about 6 of their trucks uh, about 10 years ago, and it very served me well. Served me well. I like Old Dominion. Yeah. Okay. Now you're still up in Buffalo. Yeah. 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 Old Dominion. Old Dominion. I like. What did I do with the green? You mean the green on the Old Dominion trucks? We had to take it off, or we painted it. We repainted the trucks, is what we did. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm glad you jumped in here, James. Yeah, Yeah, Old Dominion. I think you're going to be with a good. Old Dominion is ranked about number 4, I think, in the nation, 4th or 5th, somewhere in there. But they're a real good company. I can't say anything bad about them. I think you'll really enjoy that. Yeah, yeah. I'm supposed to actually talk with Scott this afternoon. He asked me yesterday. I was supposed to. He reached out to me, wanted to know if I could come on his channel and talk, and I'm going to go on his channel this afternoon. I had a family event yesterday. We honored my nephew. I think some of you may have heard me talk about this in the past. I had a nephew that had retired as a colonel in the Air Force, and he had gone to the Citadel. That's where he graduated, the Citadel in Charleston, South Carolina. And unfortunately, he had colon cancer and passed away. But he was working for the Citadel, and the Citadel and a lot of his classmates honored him for a walkway down there that they named in his honor. And we went down as a family unit to see that yesterday, and went tailgated and did a bunch of other things. Okay, James. Well, I'll probably see you over on RVT's channel later. Yeah, yeah. I think, well, Old Dominion. I think you'll be well pleased with Old Dominion. Way better than JB Hunt. JB Hunt's a big company, but JB Hunt is nowhere near the uh, stability, I think, of Old Dominion. Old Dominion, you'll be able to feel like you got a job you can keep forever. I think. Uh, yeah, yeah. We honored, like I said, my J Beam, Colonel J Beam, is who we honored yesterday. Is, like I said, one of my nephews. It's kind of hard to believe. He was only 49 years old, and we lost him last year. But hardworking young man, had done a lot had accomplished a lot in his time. I'll tell you what, guys, I'm about to lose my voice again, and the rain's coming down. I've got to be on another podcast later today. I'm gonna be, as you see there, I'm gonna be on RVT Trucking uh, podcast. I've got to get some things arranged for that. Hopefully, I can get my other camera, find it, and get a little bit better shot. So I'm gonna be doing that. I'm got to get back to work, and I'll see you guys next week. So y'all take care. Okay.